Okay, let's talk about skills. So skills are the meat of Ask Steve. They're basically the ability to run repetitive tasks over and over again. And one way to look at them might be as a macro. Another way might be as a reusable prompt. It's a set of instructions that tells Steve to do something. And then once you've built it, you can use it anywhere that Steve can be used. So let's take a look at some skills and kind of see how you can build them. So the way to get to your skills is by clicking on the Ask Steve toolbar icon and then clicking on the Skills tab. And here you can see a list of all the different skills that you have installed. Steve comes with over 100 out of the box, which you can easily delete any you don't need, but you can see them all now. And then if you want to get to any specific one, you can just start typing here in the list and it will filter down until it finds the one that you're looking for. So let's start with this one, translate to emoji. It's a simple one. So we'll go down here and we'll take a look at the details. It's got a name, and that's the name that appears everywhere in Ask Steve. We've got a set of instructions. And so in this case, it just says, take the following text, give it to me in emoji. I only want emoji, no words. And then we can see that we have what's called a page variable here. That's what the double square brackets indicates. And that says, get some content from the page, either the whole page if the user hasn't selected anything, or the selection on the page. And then we set a category for it as well. And then we can decide if we want to add a shortcut to it to the right-click menu, which is this menu right here. If I say Ask Steve 2, everything is typically in its category. But if you check that shortcut checkbox, then it will appear up here at the top level so that you have quick access to it. So, and then you can run it right here. So let's take this. This is a graphic design contract. And we're going to say, we're going to highlight this text. The client wishes to hire the designer to provide graphic design services. And we're just going to run this right now. So it's going to run it with that selected text, and it's going to translate this to emoji. And we can see we've got like handshake and palette and computer and something else. So it translated that selected text to emoji. If our skill didn't do what we wanted it to do, then we could add more stuff here. We could just continually update it. We could say, always add a smiley to the end. Okay, and now I can run this again, and let's see, and look, we have a smiley at the end. So this gives you the ability to very quickly iterate on your skill and get it right by working on the current page or the current selection. So this was a simple one that had just one page variable in it and not a whole lot of instructions. Let's find one that's a little bit more complicated. Here's one where you can generate the hashtags from any text. And we can see here we've got some more detailed instructions. I'm going to give you some text. I need you to generate hashtags, but we've given a number of examples in this case. So here's some examples. Here's some input I'm going to give you. Here's some text, and here's the output in terms of the kind of hashtags I would like for that input. And so in this case, you can see we're giving a number of different examples, and then we're ending with an input, and then it's going to take whatever is selected on the page. And then output is what the model that Steve will generate. So in this case, I can run this again. And it took that selected text here and it generated some hashtags, graphic design, design services, etc. So you can see in this example, again, only just one page variable, but in this case, a lot of examples to give Steve some context for what to do. And this can often be very helpful, especially for complex tasks, to give it examples of the kind of input you're going to give and then the kind of output that you would like. Now, these are page variables, and you can have up to 10 of these on a page that you can grab information from. The other kind of variable are what are called user input variables. So I'm going to look for a different one here, create an outline for an essay. So again, a very simple task, but we can see create an outline for an essay about, and then in the double curly braces, essay topic. So this means ask the user for what this is at the time that you run it, and then Steve will use it. So in this case, this skill isn't picking anything off the current web page. It's just going to ask you for an essay topic, and then it will generate an outline. So I'm going to hit run here, and you can see that Steve is asking me for the essay topic, and I'm going to say dolphins, and it's going to generate me an outline for an essay about dolphins. So that's a simple user variable, and you can have as many of those as you want in your skill. And now we'll take one that's a slightly bit more complicated, answer questions about a contract. So now in this case, if we look at this, it's got a mix of both page variables and user variables. You're an expert on legal contracts. Here's a part of a contract I'm going to need help with. And then here's the page variable of the contract. And then can you please answer this question about the contract? So it's going to ask me what I want to know about this particular contract. And if it can't be answered, then answer with, I can't find the answer to this question. Okay, great. So let's try and run that one right now. And so right now I have nothing on the page selected, so it's running with the whole page, and I can ask any question about the contract. So I can say, who can terminate this contract? And it will read the contract, and it will tell me the answer. Either party may terminate it immediately at any time with a bunch of details. Okay, so it actually read through the contract and figured that out for me. So we can see in this example that there was one of each kind of variable. It actually grabbed the content from the page, and then it asked me a particular question. So the best way to learn how to make these things is just by looking at all the examples and seeing how they're constructed. You can be as simple or as complex as you like, ask for as much data from the user or from the page as you need to, and have fun. Like, this gives you the ability to have Steve do anything you want on any web page, and it gives you the power then of Gemini and ChatGPT directly in the web page that you're currently working without having to bounce back and forth. If you have any questions about skills, please feel free to ask them in our user community. Thanks.